let's start there. So the way the All-Star ballot works is you vote for 3 front court players. For decades, you had to have one be a center. That's no longer the case. 3 front court players. They can all be small forwards. That won't be the case this year, but
they can all be centers.
They could all be centers. Also won't be the case this year.
Yes, it will be in the West.
Okay. So, McMahon, why don't we start with you? Why don't you give us your Western Conference front court, your 3 players?
My 3 centers are Nikola Jokic, Rudy Gobert, and LeBron James.
Fair point. That's right.
That was quite the setup by McMahon, just repeatedly hammering home he was going to have 3 centers. So it's pretty clear where you're going with that.
It zoomed over my head.
You like that one. And then, obviously, Steph. And John Morant's the guy I'm going with as I
didn't know they played
guard.
the front court. He just keeps
going I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad.
Just paying no attention.
Listen, you told me
front court.
Buddy. You also told me to talk a lot.
Okay. That's true.
Sorry, front court.
All right. I don't think there's much of it. In all honesty, is anybody here not going with Steph Curry and John Morant for the backcourt?
That's pretty. The way Ja has played over the past few weeks, that's made that pretty open and shut, I think.
Mm-hmm. And Ja has passed Luka Doncic in the fan voting. So if you win the fan voting and the media voting, the players also get a component of this. But I think that's what it's going to be. I don't know if there's much argument there.
For people that don't know, it's 50%. 50% of the share goes to the fan vote, and then 25% each is for media and player votes. So,
And the reason they have the media and players do it is so that Zaza Pachulia doesn't get voted in to start, which almost happened.
That is correct.
Shout out to Georgia, and then not the national football champs.
Right. Okay, so Bontemps, your Western Conference front court.
I had Jokic and LeBron as 2 starters. I have Draymond Green penciled in as my 3rd starter. I went back and forth with him and Rudy Gobert. I still haven't decided yet which way I was going to go. I was going to let you guys hash it out and then help me make a decision on that spot, because I think you can go either way.
Yeah. So the fans have Andrew Wiggins right now, slightly ahead of Paul George in the most recent fan voting. It would be interesting if Wiggins gets the fan vote, considering the 2 guys directly behind, actually the 3 guys behind him are all injured right now. Paul George, Anthony Davis, and Draymond Green. Those are the 4, 5, and 6 in the current fan voting. I think there's a good chance he could get number 3 in the fan vote. Do you think he has a shot in the media vote? Or the player vote?
No.
I'd be very surprised. There's been a pretty strong push in the Bay to try to get him as a 3rd All-Star, and I have a sneaking suspicion if Draymond Green is unable to play in the All-Star game, that he will be put in as a commissioner's pick as a reserve. Would be my guess, because I don't think he'll get voted in as a reserve either. I would not have Andrew Wiggins in the All-Star game personally. He's had a nice year. But
I agree with that.
That's how I see that is going to go.
Yeah, he's had a good year. He's not an all-star. There's several players in the West that are more deserving. It is interesting to me that in the fan vote, like, how is Andrew Wiggins more popular than Draymond? That befuddles me.
Well, I think number one, it goes to just the overall power of the Warriors brand, because the Warriors are on TV a lot. And so
the Warriors have also been heavily pushing Andrew Wiggins to make
I'm saying
All-Star game.
Draymond Green plays for the Warriors. So that's I don't
right,
get it.
But Draymond Green has been around and been an All-Star for a while. I think there's a new interest in the way Wiggins is playing, I think. But I do. You're making a good point. You know, he's also a
Canadian star from Toronto, which I think probably gives him a bit of a boost. Also,
yeah, but he doesn't even play for Team Canada. I mean, give me a break.
Listen, he played for Team Canada this past summer. They just didn't make it to the Olympics because
fine. He didn't play in the part that I watched. Then, I didn't watch that qualifying crap. But. So if the Warriors need a third, then we need to discuss DeAndre Ayton or Mikal Bridges, because if the Warriors get a third, then the best team in the West has to.
We will be discussing reserves in a moment.
You're going down a path where we all have agreed that Andrew Wiggins shouldn't be in the All-Star game. So making an argument about that is a bit silly, McMahon.
All right.
That's what I do.
So I have Nikola Jokic, who I'm a big supporter of, as you guys know. He's a terrific player. So much so that I voted for him for MVP.
That 49.
There's no much more of a compliment you can give a player than giving him your first place official MVP vote.
After lobbying viciously against him, that 49-point triple-double nudged Wendy into giving Jokic the All-Star nod last night.
Yeah, that's right. That was a pretty impressive.
Pushed him over the edge. Let's get back to the actual debate about Draymond and Rudy Gobert, if there is one, though.
Yeah, so LeBron is also on my ballot, and he will, of course, make it. The question is of whether he or Curry will be the quote-unquote captain. Curry, in the most recent All-Star release, was slightly ahead of LeBron. But LeBron's been playing terrifically. Curry's been leveling.
LeBron also made up a pretty massive gap in the fan vote from the first round to the second round. So I would suspect that he'll pass him in the next round.
Yeah, and he's playing just awesome. He's having a great year, even though the Lakers aren't. Gobert's candidacy increased by the fact that when he went out with COVID, the Jazz took a nosedive. The problem, McMahon, is that Gobert has come back and the Jazz are still nosediving.
Well, he came back and it's like statement win against the Nuggets. Rudy's back. All's right with the Jazz. And then I don't know which is more embarrassing these days, losing to the Lakers or losing at home to the Rockets.
The Rockets.
Like Lakers on a second night of a back-to-back on the road or at home to the Rockets.
Well, I will say this. The Lakers beat the Jazz the other night at home, and it was hailed as like this potentially the best win of the season. And
every Lakers win is hailed that way.
Yes.
You're right. But this one was like, it saved Frank Vogel's
on the second night of a back-to-back when the team had a historically bad shooting luck performance. And then they proceeded to blow a lead in the fourth quarter and lose to the Indiana Pacers, who have a million injuries. So there we go. Okay. There's the Lakers season in a nutshell.
Just hold on, Bontemps. The Jazz have lost 6 of 7.
Yes.
They are 1-6. And they just lost to the Rockets at home. And that win is regarded as a statement win for the Lakers, just to frame.
Big statement.
Just to frame everything. So I would say that Gobert's position, even just with the team performance, has been damaged in this.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we will see if Draymond is even available for the All-Star game.
I would be surprised if he is.
Yeah,
that's my assumption at this point too.
Yeah, that when you talk about an issue with a disc leading to tightness in the calf, like that's pretty concerning stuff. But just evaluating their cases, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you if you don't pick Gobert, you're a fool. But I think that defensively, we're talking about the 2 best impact defenders in the league, and we can debate who's having the better defensive year, whatever. That's a debate. Offensively, Draymond is definitely a guy who is an impact offensive player. He makes life a hell of a lot easier for Steph Curry. In that system, he is such a unique playmaker. Rudy is a similar kind of key cog to the Jazz offense with his Rudy's screening to the Jazz offense is equivalent to Draymond's passing to the Warriors offense. The difference is Rudy averages 16 points a game. He averages twice as many points a game. And, he's shooting better than 70% for the floor. I believe still leading the league in field goal percentage. And then Gobert leads the league in rebounding by a pretty wide margin, by over a rebound per game. So that's where I lean toward Rudy, just kind of on the statistical contribution.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think even if Draymond Green, who is likely, I think he's going to, I'm going to have him on my ballot. I think Draymond Green has a decent chance of winning the media and player
voting
spot.
Mhm.
And if he can't play, Rudy Gobert is likely to make the team, and he may get the start anyway.
He'll start.
So
Yeah.
So
that
might
would be
end
my
up being
guess.
both the same.
Is that the commissioner's choice who starts? Because
No,
let's
it's
be real.
it'll be the coach's choice who
Oh,
starts.
coach's choice.
Okay, because Rudy is going to be way down on the fan list. And if we're being realistic, he's probably going to be pretty far down on the player list because for whatever reason, like Rudy Gobert is not popular among players. I think that is fair to say. So in no way, shape,
He's not
or form,
popular among some of his own teammates.
depends on the day. In some way, shape, or form, or in no way, shape, or form, rather, do I expect Rudy Gobert to actually be named a starter. I'm just arguing that he deserves to be.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no question. There's no question he deserves to. I mean, I went back and forth on that spot a bunch. I just ultimately went with Draymond because of his impact at both ends and the fact that the Warriors have a couple more wins.
Well, when Draymond was playing, they were untouchable. Since he's gotten hurt, they've been touchable. So
Yes.
that's all you need to know. All right, so let's take a look at the East. The East is interesting. So we'll start in the front court, and Bontemps, we'll start with you. I think.
Do we even have to talk? Do we have to talk about front court more than 30 seconds?
Okay, so the front court is almost certainly going to be Durant, Giannis, and Embiid. Those are the three top vote getters by a mile. I assume the media is going to be the same. Durant will not be able to play in all likelihood. And so then he would be replaced by somebody else, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Right.
So now we get down to the guards. The league has designated DeMar DeRozan